It's another beautiful Tuesday morning, and Tuesdays are great days for us here on Agate Television as we bring you this simulcast talking about newspaper headlines review. And my name is Fanan Kwanum, and I'm in the studio today with full analyst, starting from my left. Talking about Barrister Polycarp Andy. He's a legal practitioner and a public affairs commentator. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you so very much. I feel nostalgic being back here again.
Thank you. And then we do hope to have a great time on the program.
Yeah.
Okay, by my right is usual analyst Chief Tevera Kase. Is a seasoned journalist with high perspectives when it comes to national, local, and international issues. Good morning, Sir Teve.
Good morning, Fane, and I'm happy to be here again.
All right, let me also announce to you again that our program is streaming live on our social media handles. On Facebook is Agate Radio and Television. We're also streaming live on YouTube, Agate Television. www.agateradiotv.com is the website that you could read our paper, read our news, and also listen to our radio. And then let me also remind you that the program is also live on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makudi. We're starting off this edition with our newspaper, Agate News. All right, and it comes with a banner headline, "My former SSG is a thief." And this is coming from Governor Alia. And there is a response in form of a writer which says, "I'm not a thief," says Alakali. All right, above the name plate, apologize to Benue people for claiming there are no more headers attacks. That's former Governor Otom. Amidst criticisms, Governor Alia unveiled state logo with cross. Headers kill 5 in Benue. Benue to pioneer gas production from coal and GEP. And then Benue Assembly demands urgent action on more than 1 year chieftaincy stools vacancy. We have over 2 billion naira fraud racks Benue Varsity as a Bursar ICT director suspended. And then lastly, we have hoodlums burned down schools in Benue. So these are some of the stories we have in our newspaper, Agate News. And in case you just want to look at the details as we talk about them, go to www.agateradiotv.com. There you would be reading as we are making analysis of these headlines. We're starting off with my former SSG is a thief. Earlier, I am not. A thief statement came to limelight, a few days ago. And they got a lot of people talking. Some were on the side of the governor, others were on the side of the SSG. But in the long run, this is the state #1 citizen. He made his statements, and let's also bring to mind the statement that announced the resignation, officially announced the resignation of Professor Alakali, as released by the governor's chief press secretary. I mean, none of these things that the governor said were written there. And he went on to say this. What's your thought?
You see, let me first speak as a lawyer, then secondly I will speak as a citizen of this state. You see, first and foremost, there was a letter that was written by the Orsted secretary to the Benue State government. And the reason why he left office were a bit bleak. Because they didn't come out clearly to state the reason why he left office. But speculation had it that he was forced to resign. That was first statement. And for the governor to come out very clearly and declare, he expected that if the man was indeed a thief, he owes Nigeria or he owes the entire Benue State accountability. Because the entire secretariat of Nigeria, the entire documentary section of the Benue State was under his custody. And so if he was a thief and adjudged to be a thief, I think the governor of Benue State owed the Benue citizen the right to have informed them that I decided that he should leave office on the basis of these allegations that were leveled against him. And for the governor to leave that and make that in a church when he attended an event to say that the man was a thief caused a lot of things to think about. One, legally speaking, you don't just say somebody is a thief until a court of competent jurisdiction declares him a thief. And that's the reason why from the first procedure of arraignment up to the proceedings of trial, up to judgment, you must follow the procedure. Was this procedure followed in the first instance? Has he been declared a thief? Has he been arraigned? Have the police been invited to take him? Has the court of law adjudged him to be a criminal? So when I heard that statement, I said, Kai, it is quite unfortunate that it's coming from the chief executive of the state. And I'm not sure. I think it's inappropriate for him to have made that statement until the judge or a competent court of justice declared him a thief. For you to make that allegation, very sweeping allegation that is a thief, and the man came out very openly to write a rejoinder. So now it is his word against that of the governor. So who do we believe? So the people of Benue State cannot pick and choose which story to believe. Should we believe that of the governor? Should we believe the rejoinder that was written by the SSG? So we leave it to the court of public domain to decide whatever is the fate. Who among them is saying the truth? But it's quite inappropriate for that statement to have come from the chief executive governor.
Okay, so the rejoinder, as you said, made some revelations that were not in the formal resignation letter as it was tendered, and we saw that. But Chief Akase, as a media person, I would want to take you on the side of the media. Do you think that most of these numerous media aids we have in these days are making any valid contributions to the progress of the state, or managing the reputation and image of our executives and our elected representatives? Because one would have expected that it's not everything that goes out to the public domain.
No, Fane, I will not comment on that aspect of this issue because a governor has the right to appoint his aides, and if he is satisfied with their performance, good for him. If he is not satisfied, he fires them. So if a governor can choose to have 100 media aides or less, or just 2. It depends on how it's for the convenience of his administration. So that is not very interesting to me. What is interesting to me, Barrister has already spoken on the issue of you are a thief, I'm not a thief. Now I'm looking rather on the rejoinder that Professor Alakali published, and I found that rejoinder very passionate. Like we will have a man who is a complete gentleman. Now, if Governor Alia had described another person as a thief like he did, that video went viral, and a lot of Nigerians reacted, not just in Benue. This news was everywhere. Now, another person would have taken on the governor in the hardest of manners. But you had Professor Alakali come out in a low tone and just explained that I served you and you didn't find me wanting. You didn't sack me. You didn't give any reason that I was found wanting in any way, and I resigned. Even if he was forced to resign, the government did not tell us, like Barrister said. Now, I gave a good account of my stewardship, and I left government. And it's almost how many months now? And you are coming to say I'm a thief. This is quite unfortunate. And Alakali went on to explain the circumstances of the passports. I think it was international passports that His Excellency Governor Alia was referring to, that Alakali stole, according to him, and was selling to people who are not from the state and so on. And Alakali also explained that issue. So I am rather impressed by his humble, his humane nature of not hitting back. Because if to say someone is a thief, this is, all the years that this professor has built, has used to build his reputation, a professor of many years standing, and you just describe him in such terms that he's a thief. I mean, this was very hard on the man, and he came out. He didn't allow that to annoy him so much. He calmed down, explained, and said, "Look, Your Excellency, I'm not a thief. I served you wholeheartedly, and I left." So that's the angle I want to comment. I want to really commend Professor Alakali for having the temperament, the calmness to respond to the governor in the most humble way and explain things the way they are.
All right, still in Agate News, we're looking at another headline, and this time around we want to take a look at the security issues here. Number one, we have headers kill 5 in Benue, and we also have hoodlums burn down schools also in Benue. All right, apologize to Benue people for claiming there are no more headers attacks or term to Aliyah. All right, and just a few days ago we saw a news publication, a news clip being circulated online of the DG Bureau for Homeland Security. He said it clearly that people are politicizing the issues of insecurity, particularly in Turan, Kwande local government area, and other parts of the state. That is to say that the security are, according to him, the security are working so hard that they've brought that to the barest minimum. But yet, some persons are still going out there to, spread the rumor of, according to him, spread the rumor of insecurity and a whole lot of that. But then we have real fact. We relate with these people. For instance, I'm from Kwande, and we relate with these people. I have roots in Turan also. And then on Christmas Day, there was an attack that that happened, and a lot of persons were killed. And then the mass burial was also conducted. And then we also saw a video of the deputy governor somewhere in Otukpo also trying to witness how multiple graves were being dug. And then someone comes to say this. Chief Akase, are we really saved?
Well, I don't know what the present government of Benue State is thinking. They are on the seat. They have all the intelligence apparatuses. They have all the layers of intelligence gathering. And in that same church where His Excellency the Governor described his former SSG as a criminal, he also said that there are no more attacks in Benue State, and he went on to say how previously people were, the previous government would go on national television and declare, that cry wolf when there was no wolf at all. That the government was taking advantage of the killings and so on. That since he came in, there are no more killings by headers in the state. He was very clear about this. And we have seen the reactions from every quarter of the state. People are coming out to say, Your Excellency, you are wrong. There are killings everywhere. There are attacks. We cannot access our homelands. People have been displaced. And a lot of Amnesty International said in the last 1 year, more than 2,000 people have been killed in Benue State. This is on record, Amnesty International. Now, you are saying there are no more attacks. But I believe that the reports that are coming from all parts of the state, yesterday I read a group of Kwande stakeholders calling the bluff of the government and say, look, you are lying, that the people, you are saying we are not being killed, but our people are missing. Many have been killed and so on, our property destroyed, and you are saying there are no killings. And this morning I saw some social media accounts, people saying the Director General of the Homeland Security also should be fired for telling the world the wrong thing, giving the wrong impression that people are not being attacked in Benue again by herdsmen. So I believe the government itself is getting the reactions of the people, and what the right thing to do at this moment is to apologize to the people, because the very people, the very masses themselves have reacted that you are not telling the world the truth. Our people, we are being killed, and you are saying there are no attacks. Is it not better to say, look, there are attacks, but our government, this is what our government is doing. We are trying to liaise with security agencies. Our government has given support to security agencies. You should be telling people that. But when you say outrightly that there are no attacks, then it really gives that wrong impression. I believe President Tinubu is a listening president, and he is a complete opposite of his predecessor, who would tell our government then to go and learn to live with their neighbors. But President Tinubu is ready to listen, and if Governor Alia liaises with the federal government, I believe he will get the needed support to tackle insecurity in the state. So I don't think they are right to say that there are no more attacks. His deputy was, Tupo, like you said, last week, where he witnessed a mass burial of people who have been attacked and killed by the same headers. And the deputy governor also granted an interview on that sad, that solemn occasion, and condemned the attacks and so on. So when you come to say there are no attacks, I don't know, perhaps the governor needs to get
in the Daily Trust newspaper.
If I may, you just okay.
In the Daily Trust newspaper, say government kill 19 in Nzoti. The President General of Nzoti, retired controller of customs, you'll be here. He confirmed this, and the caliber of such caliber of people are confirming, this stuff. So they shouldn't be blown away. But just in addition to your thought,
yes,
I like you to take it to this direction. After your thought, do look at it's happening all through the North Central.
Yes.
A few days ago, the governor of Plateau State was also complaining that some communities have been sacked, and the people doing this are occupying the communities. And when arrested, they are discovered to be people from other countries. Don't you think it's also an arrangement to continue what had started? History told us that started in the 1940s. That is still going on.
You see, before I get to what you just asked, maybe I need to very quickly respond to what you have asked. Sure. Then I can go back to what the former CPS said, just to add to what he said. You see, the Fulanization of Nigeria has not ended. It started right from during the Usman Dan Fodio period. And if they tell you that it has ended, then they're lying to you. I think at some point it abated. We just went into abeyance, and they went back to the drawing board and see how they can strategize. And you notice that the whole of the North Central the attention has shifted to North Central. Plateau is complaining. Niger is complaining. Benue is complaining. Nasarawa is also complaining. Why? I don't know you understand. These attacks are going, and Taraba is also complaining. And these attacks are going on simultaneously. There's more than 80% occupation by people suspected to be herdsmen. And when the current president came in, part of his top priority or part of his agenda was to try as much as to see how he can strengthen the security architecture of Nigeria. You understand? And you notice that the first time they come into government, the first thing they do is that to change the service chiefs and give them the marching order. This is what we expect from you. Yeah, we agree that a substantial part of security has been achieved. But it's not to go to the media and begin to tell Nigerians those kind of lies. Do you understand? If there's anybody that has the privilege to receive intelligence report every day at the chief executive, the president receives intelligence report almost on every minute, as well as the governor. So you cannot go to the public domain and make sweeping statement or generalization based on a fade, a perverse, or a porous security intelligence report. Do you understand? So whatever the governor comes out there to say is based on the security report. That is our assumption. That is what we expect. That is a rebuttable, maybe rebuttable presumption. But we assume that whatever the governor comes out to say is what he gets from the security intelligence report. And that boils down to what the former CPS said. He said the governor has the prerogative to appoint as many aides as he can. But it should be, this appointment should be guided by, do they actually have the capacity? Are they honest? Are they transparent? Do they have the capacity to cipher between what is true and what is wrong? And put aside politics. Do you understand? You just don't come out and play politics with people's lives. You come out and say, that is why you notice that security statements are made in a manner that is very calculative. People don't just come out to make statements like this. Say, at every point in time, they will tell the public that we're trying as much as we can to reduce insecurity to the barest minimum. We're trying to protect the lives and properties of our citizens to the barest minimum. They can never come out until we have eradicated it. You understand? Because people are waiting to contradict you. The public is well informed. As soon as you do it, these reports that are coming, these killings are not coming from government house. They are coming from the natives, the settlers themselves. So they have the first-hand information. And what they give you is credible. You can verify it anywhere. So we should be very careful about making sweeping statements when it comes to security issues, because the people will take you up on that. So my candid advice is that even the governor the people of Benue State are watching very closely and prepared to contradict whatever he comes out to say. And he should be very watchful about what these security aides tell him. There's nothing wrong about saying, fine, if you tell me this is subject to, let me call several other sources to confirm this thing that you have told me, is it correct? Do you understand? So
a governor can actually visit
very good
some of these locations that these flashpoints. A governor has all the retinue of the full complement of security with him. He has the military, he has DSS, he has the police, he has civil defense, he has immigration, he has all of these people who can accompany him to any part of Benue State where security breaches have been reported. And so it is intelligence gathering who are the traditional rulers and even down to the ward level and even the polling unit level. A governor has people in each polling unit of the state, not just the ward. So he can easily call anybody by himself. If he doesn't trust his aides, he can call anybody and say, what is happening? I understand there is this happening in your place. Is it true? And if he confirms this from the people he trusts, those people worked for him in the last election and they still believe in him. So you can easily confirm some of these things, and you can visit and when the people see you coming to visit them after they have been attacked, that assuages their pain, that alleviates their pain. Even before you send relief materials, your presence alone tells them that, look, here is a caring governor. You have come to identify with them during their time of grief. So that gives you first-hand information. You don't need to depend on an aide who may be lazy, who may be, neglecting his duties. That's what it is. So you get first-hand information when you visit the people who are under threat.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We now move from the Agate news, but just to remind you that if you found any of these stories interesting, you could go to www.agateradiotv.com to read the details of the stories by yourself. All right, so we're moving to the Nation newspaper, and there it comes with it. This banner headline: inflation drops to 24.48% in expected MBS January figures. Enhanced digital methodologies in line with global standards adopted. And this, we understand there is a rebasement of the figures, by the MBS in comparison with December last year. All right, Lagos gets 8 CP in 7 years. Investors scramble for Nigeria's assets. CEOs confident in economy. DSS presence at Lagos Assembly raises dust. Ogun promise. IPP in 8 weeks. We have mayhem in Osun over control of councils. And then we have AU endorses Nigeria as AFCTA, that is African Trade Area Digital Trade Champion. So these are some of the headlines there. But we're looking at first, the inflation drops to 24.48%, and according to the MBS, it's from over 34%, and then they say it has come down to 24%. Chief Akasi, these figures are out again from the MBS.
Well, why I'm laughing is that now I rather fault my colleagues in the media. Number one, the National Bureau of Statistics is yet to release the current statistics. Now, but the media have gone ahead to project. This is a mere projection. The MBS report is expected to be released today. Now, but if you go by what is on the pages of the newspaper, in fact, the Nation has made it a banner headline. Now, you are talking about consumer price index, and you're referring to rebasing, which is merely trying to look at in this fiscal year what has happened to consumer behavior, are goods being purchased more, what is the price, the cost of particular goods. You are looking at that. That's a rebasing, and then you adjust the lines of where we were. Maybe perhaps consumer behavior has changed, or rather inflation has dropped, because people no longer 2022 or early part of 2023, or maybe the larger part of 2023. So if that is the case, why not? You can as well say that the consumer price index, CPI, has changed and inflation has dropped. Inflation drops because perhaps people no longer have the purchasing capacity. The economy is not friendly to many people. So I will not be surprised when the NBS report comes out today. Of course, we'll look at it. Perhaps maybe this can help them to adjust whatever lines that they want to adjust there, and even drop it below the 24% that is being reported.
Well, as far as Nigeria, regular Nigeria is concerned, these are just numbers, equal to where in school we're always finding X. So this is equal to finding X always, because we will know that inflation is down when we see that the prices of commodities and goods in the market are, friendly with us. But just in the recent, this week, or basically late last week, you discover that even telecommunication and networks have been hiked their prices as they proposed. Now you make 2 minutes of call and you have billed almost 70 naira. It's becoming worrisome.
Yeah.
So
that means people will make fewer calls, right? And if that leads to inflation drop, then why will I be surprised?
That is why I agree with him completely. It is not yet time for you to begin to celebrate, because the drop in inflation simply tells you that the circumstances of the derivatives are very, very strange. They are not the kind of ones that you celebrate. Because like he said, inflation has dropped not because of the effort of the government, but as a result of the austerity, as a result of the poverty, as a result of the penury that people, you understand, going through. And so that's the reason why you see this drop. It's not as if government has deliberately put in place those safeguards to bring down inflation. Inflation has just decided to restrain themselves from doing certain things. Like you said, you recharge your phone at 1,000 naira. In less than a few minutes, it's gone. You understand? So some people have decided that it is better for me to just leave it for now. That's what you understand. We can live with that phone. And we have tried to adjust our lifestyle in so many ways. So why won't inflation go down? But what I'm saying is that it is not time for us to celebrate, because the circumstances that have brought down inflation are not favorable. They are not favorable at all. You understand?
All right,
they are circumstantial.
Well, at this note, we take a short break, and when we're back, we'll look at more stories.
Keep watching Agate Television.
Keep watching Agate Televisions.
Big shout out to Agate Television, Sky's your limit.
Keep watching Agate Television.
Keep watching Agate Television, one of the best in the whole city of Makurdi. Peace.
Hello, my people. Keep watching Agate Television. Watch out for more.
Agate Television. We love you.
Special shout out to Agate Television.
Agate Television, you're the best. Shout out, peace.
Shout out to Agate Television. I love you. You're the best.
Best channel, all the fun, the live shows, the best of the best you can get.
Agate TV, one of the best rising televisions in North Central Nigeria, which everybody should actually look out for.
Welcome back. You're still watching Agate Television and listening to Agate Radio. Well, it's newspaper headlines review. And before we took that break, we were looking at the Nation newspaper. All right, now we want to comment on an issue in Osun State where there's mayhem over control of local government councils. There was a situation that led to the death of a former local government chairman and 6 other persons in that axis or over resource control. Barrister Andy, you know, isn't it worried that in the 21st century, how over control of resources before then? What's interesting about the whole thing is that just a day before the action yesterday, the governor of that state had raised an intelligence that some persons are planning to cause mayhem, and then nothing was done until the issue also occurred yesterday. So, do you see us progressing or retrogressing in our political affairs in this country?
I think we're in between the two, because it's quite unfortunate that not just Osun, you understand the drama going on in Lagos.
Yeah, we're heading to Lagos.
Very good. You understand the drama also going on in Lagos. It is quite unfortunate that you go to the polls, you elect a council chairman, the procedure goes to court because some people are dissatisfied with what has happened. And then the court of first instance gives its decision. They go to the court of appeal. The court of appeal gives its decision, and then you come back, and both parties don't have the patience to respect that would have grown past this level at this point in time. He told us, yes, when he tried to take over the office yesterday, he was killed by hoodlums. Do you understand? And they are saying fine, and you know the game is very worrisome. You shift the blame to PDP, the PDP shifts the blame to APC. That's what keeps happening. But it's quite unfortunate that the council chairman lost his life yesterday in very unfortunate circumstances. What I keep saying is that some of these things, if we're politically honest to ourselves, then one, we should respect the procedure of governance. One, there was an election that was conducted. Good or bad, the court decided. And so, for me as a lawyer, I would expect that both parties would have respected the verdict that came from the Court of Appeal and allowed the man to remain in government, the chairman remain in government. Do you understand?
Barrister, speaking about the court
yes.
verdict, myself and one person and I were discussing
yes.
Some days ago, and I said, you know, I think the House of Representatives gave an order
yes.
Concerning this issue of tariff, telecommunications tariff we just talked about,
yes.
that these people gave an order that this hike should be suspended till further notice.
Yes.
And then they went behind to implement what the National Assembly said should be suspended. Where am I driving to? The court often gives orders in this country. Like what is happening in Lagos.
Yes.
It's still in court.
Yes.
But then yesterday, the ousted speaker
came
to assume office.
It's because politicians have deliberately refused to obey.
So how do we handle this
Until
matter?
we go back, there has to be a reorientation of politicians. Politicians are the first people that flout court orders. If they respect court orders, you know, politicians are very selective when it comes to court orders. The orders that favor them, fine, we can obey them. But the orders that do not favor them, you have this. Look at Lagos. Look at Osun. What happened? All these elections went to the impeachment in Lagos as well as the election in Osun State went to the court. There was a court of first instance that gave verdict. That then they went to the court gave verdict. This man is the chairman of the council. You went to the local government, he vetted it. There were hoodlums who took over the local government secretariat, fought, and eventually the chairman died. What are you going to say? Because if there was a bit of restraint on the part of politicians are there. You have either statesmen, you have political heavyweights there. You just sit down. I think it's high time we began to feel that violence has never achieved any result. Politicians need to sit down on the table and say, look, it can be a bit of horse trading. You can say, we give you this, you take this, you concede this, we concede this. It may not be a win-win thing, but it's something that can avert this thing that we're saying. The man was fighting to get into office. Eventually, has he got into office? all I need to say as a lawyer is that let us learn to respect court orders. Because where you don't have court orders, where you don't respect court orders, this is the end result. Anarchy and disorder and this confusion and death. This is what you see. All they needed was to restrain themselves, and maybe things would have worked out. Now, who is the loser?
Okay, let's learn to respect court orders. Barrister Andy there. All right, Chief Akasi, you may wish to also lend a voice to this issue in Osun State, and also wrap it with DSS presence at Lagos Assembly.
It's quite unfortunate what happened in Osun, and I agree with Barrister Andy that our culture is yet to embrace the respect for the rule of law, and until we get there, we will continue to have problems of this nature. I wonder why governors will come to office, see elected chairmen who are a different tier of government, elected by their own people, by law. Then you come and suspend all the chairmen because you are a governor. Why will you have to suspend people just because they are not from your own party? Then you suspend them. They go to court, get judgment. You refuse to obey that judgment. They go to appeal. I mean, they move to another court. You still refuse to obey the court judgment. So, but you forget that you were also elected by law. The law, which is the Electoral Act of this country. And you are turning around to disobey the law. And when they move to impeach you, you will want to bring down the whole state. But you do not want other people who were elected, like you were also elected, to be in office just because they are not from your own political party. It's quite condemnable, quite sad. And I hope that we will get there one day. And the way to get there is for the vote to count. When people who are elected know that when they do good, they will continue in office. When they do bad, they can be voted out in the next round of elections. Then you will see order gradually returning to this country in all facets of our polity. That's the way I think. The same thing happened in Lagos. The majority of the House members came out to support the female speaker there.
Miranda.
Exactly. Now, but DSS later circulated a letter that they were invited to come and restore order in the assembly. And the House leadership is not aware of who wrote that letter. Quite a confusing situation. So, but now you clearly see a big hand somewhere pushing all of that drama.
Yes, that's another issue. The issue of the involvement of security.
Yes.
In Osun State, too, certain parties were being accused of taking alliance by the story, alliance with security.
Yes, you see, if Governor
Sanwo-Olu.
No, the governor of Osun State, Adeleke, had allowed the local government chairman to serve out their tenures. Who says you cannot lure these people to leave their party and come to your party? You are the governor now. So why not, rapport with them? Woo them to join your political party instead of being hostile to them. They were elected by their people as local government chairman. And you have come in as a governor in another party. But who says this local government chairman cannot join you? Because, of course, they will need your support. By the way, until now, the monies for local governments were purely in the hands of governors who, through their advisors or Bureau for Local Government or ministries of local government, as the case were releasing monies to them. So a governor can easily woo the local government chairman to cross over to his party. It's just a matter of being diplomatic to these people. You don't need to be hostile to them. So I find it strange that a governor will come in and just because other local government chairmen are in another party, then he suspends all of them and becomes a legal matter. He refuses to obey court. This is happening also in Benue State. Before we forget, the current governor came in and found local government chairman on the platform of the PDP. and suspended all of them. They went to court, got judgment in the court of first instance. He refused to obey that judgment, and they went ahead and got several other judgments. Up to today, those local government chairmen are still not back to office. So I don't know which democracy we are practicing. So but now the Supreme Court has given judgment on autonomy of local governments. Perhaps that is what is even causing this tussle more, because governors feel that if you do not have your own men in the local governments, with monies now going completely in their hands, it will be difficult for you to have access to those funds. So if that is what is pushing state governors not to allow local government chairmen who are elected by their own people to be their chairman, and they are suspending them anyhow they are doing, that's not correct. And I hope that we will not continue to witness this kind of situation.
In the Punch newspaper, chaos, crisis in Lagos. DSS lawmakers biker over daylight assembly invasion. Miranda refuses to resign. Obasa plots return. GSC to meet Tinubu Sanwo-Olu security changed. So that's in the Punch newspaper. That it comes as a banner headline, so we've discussed that already. Okay, federal government plans 2.3 trillion naira electricity subsidy in 2025. We also have AU endorses Nigeria as AFCTA digital trade champion. You have AGF, that's the Attorney General of the Federation. Basically, these are the stories there. All right, so we're looking at AGF bars police from parading suspects. You are a lawyer, Barrister Andy. So, what's the position of the law in parading suspects?
You see, if we look at the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, that's the fourth alteration. It provides in Section 36, it provides presumption of innocence. Presumption of innocence simply means that you are an innocent person until you are presumed to be a criminal or to be guilty. You understand? So we call it acquisitoria. Acquisitoria in the sense that if you are taken to the court, there is a presumption that there is nothing against you, and that is why they call it allegation. Until the police, who are the prosecuting body, proves beyond reasonable doubt that you are guilty. And so, because the presumption of innocence and the parading of accused person runs contrary to what happens, by the time you parade an accused person who is standing trial for allegations which are yet to be proven, you have already created prejudice. Assuming the judge who sits on the television watching that you have paraded these suspects and the suspects are brought before him, he has already made up his mind. His mind is already prejudiced. And so that's the essence why, in the wisdom of the current Attorney General of the Federation, he feels that there is no need. You don't need to parade the person. Allow the person go through the rigors of trial. Let him exhaust every avenue that's available for trial. He may come out right, he may come out wrong. Do you understand? Guilty. So, but when you put him on television in the full glare of the entire public, there is a prejudiced mind, both in the mind of the judge and in the mind of the public. That's already a criminal.
Okay, the practice usually is it that after you have been found not to be guilty, the police still parades you to
the police are
otherwise?
Not even, no, the police are not even supposed to parade you in the first place. And you know this happens. Even the EFCC, that's what they do now. As soon as the allegations against you, particularly allegations of financial misappropriation or embezzlement or money laundering, what they do is that they pick that board. There's that board that they write the fence, and then they put it across your chest. You understand?
Yeah.
And as at that time, what is there are simply allegations. Allegations that we're alleging this and we need to prove it. And proving criminal matters, you must prove it beyond reasonable doubt. It's not on preponderance of evidence. Preponderance means you put it on the same level. That's for civil. But for criminal, you must prove it. So you don't just put the board across the man. Okay, if eventually the court acquits him, what will you do with the damaged image that's been done? I don't know whether you understand. So that's why it is right. In developed nations, they don't just arraign you. Before they arraign you in court, the prosecuting authority has gathered every information, every evidence that is required for them to prosecute you. I don't know. But in Nigeria, you are convicted before you are tried. And so by parading you is already a conviction. The entire public has that assumption that you are a criminal because you are being paraded. And they parade you in the most unfortunate circumstances. Sometimes they put you are under handcuff. or sometimes they put you to sit on the ground. So on face value, anybody looking at you, ipso facto, looks at you as a criminal. Do you understand? That's what you, without even saying anything, when they put somebody on the ground and then the cameras are, everybody looks at you and say, this one is a criminal.
Okay.
So in Nigeria, you are convicted before you are tried.
There's also what is known as media trials.
Yes, and that's what that's why the media is guilty, and that's what they do, media trial. You understand? So the media they sentence you, they convict you even before the court does that. You see, and it's not too good. It's really not too good.
All right, Chief Akazi, what's your first reaction when you first heard the order by the AGF?
It's a good one. It's a good one, and as Barrister has rightly said, we do not have to convict people before they are taken to court, because some of this, people sometimes arrests are made on mistaken identity. Maybe at a crime scene, the perpetrators have already escaped, and security agencies arrive at the scene, and maybe people who just came to see what happened, they are arrested because they become the first witnesses or something. I mean, the first suspects. And now you arrest someone who only happens to be at the scene of a crime. Yeah. And the next moment you put that banner or that whatever on his chest. And it means you have condemned, you have tried him and condemned him. So it's wrong. And that order is apt, in my estimation, is correct, and it should be implemented as quickly as possible.
Let me share a practical experience with you.
Okay.
I think about 4 or 5 years back, I was doing a matter, and the young man was arrested from Wales local government and paraded by Benue State Police Command. He was paraded, and between the period of 8 a.m. up to 2 a.m., the young man, we got his administrative bail, police granted him bail. This young man was paraded. He sat in the comfort of his room while he watched the video clip parading him. Yes. So you see how as at the time he was paraded, the press had already gone with the report. So nobody informed the press that we have granted him bail. So he's released. And so since he got the freedom, we didn't want to overblow the stigma. But the stigma was there.
What if you want to make issue out of it?
Of course, we'd have made issues out of it, because they ought to have withdrawn that report at the point they granted him bail. You understand? And in the first place, why do you parade him? Why did you even parade him in the first place? When you knew that this is not a capital offense, it's a bailable offense, it's a minor offense, it's just a misdemeanor. You understand? So you didn't even need to parade him in the first place. So these are the consequences of parading.
Barrister, I need you to hammer on this. Like, for instance, I'm that young man, and I don't want things to go the way he wanted to.
He would have sued. He would have sued. He would have sued. He would have sued. You can't as well have defamation. There are so many heads of offenses that he would have sued. You understand? And it was there.
All right. So, Chief Akazi, federal government plans a 2.3 trillion naira electricity subsidy in 2025.
Beautiful move. I applaud if it is done. I applaud the Tinubu government for thinking in that direction in the first instance, because we talked about it here the other time, that there are some services that the government should not allow the private sector to drive alone, because if you allow some services like energy, education, electricity, that's part of energy, basic needs, that if you allow only the private sector to drive, then they will be beyond the reach of Nigerians. So it is a good thing that the Tinubu government is looking in the direction of subsidizing electricity, and that will be good for Nigerians, because if people do not have fuel to move around, at least they should have electricity in their homes to stay home and be watching television, be watching Agate television. Well, it looks a bit amusing, but sometimes we just need to make light out of these things, because truly things are not easy for Nigerians. And if the government is looking at ways to alleviate the pains of Nigerians, it's commendable. Let it not remain on the pages of newspapers. It should be done, and done as quickly as possible.
The report says, I was reading the report and I saw that there was subsidy paid on electricity last December.
I don't know
I was
about
trying
that.
to wonder how and when it
Yeah,
was
like he said, I will differ a bit. I will agree with him in a way, but also differ in a way, because I think severally, if my memory has not failed me, on several occasions there has been subsidy in terms of electricity over the years, until I think at some point it was stopped, and the state of emergency was declared on electricity at some point, and I think it's good for us to resuscitate it, because there's so much fraud that goes on in the electricity. You see these people that transmit, they will tell you that marketers don't pay us our money, and it happens. You pick light from those that transmit, because there's a chain, there's a value chain. You pick it from those who transmit, you take it to the marketing, and after getting the money from the marketing, we expect that you pay back the transmitting companies, and the transmitting companies have several times cried to the public that we are not being paid. They take this, we give them this electricity, when they sell it, they don't bring the money. So you need to declare a state of emergency. You need to also read the Riot Act to them and say that even if we are going to subsidize you, we don't expect what happened in the petroleum sector to happen in the power sector. You understand? Until you put these safeguards. If we don't put this safeguard, that's going to be another conduit pipe for corruption. So we need to do it. I agree with him that we need to do it, but we need to go back and clean the room first before we can do it.
All right, one last story will be taken before we call it a quit today. Is a Saudi firm threatens to sue Hajj Commission over contract breach, and that's in the Daily Trust newspaper. Okay, and quickly, I like to comment on not particularly any commission, any pilgrimage commission particularly, but pilgrimage in general. Because each and every year, Nigerians spend a lot of billions of dollars on pilgrimage. So, and it's not going well at all. Here, the firm is saying that, okay, 26,000 persons were given to us, and then they have sent over 50,000 persons to us. So the other half is not giving us, but at the end of the day, they will all go. And the implication is that monies in form of subsidies have been received on this number of people, but at the end of the day, half is released to them to take care of the remaining 50. They say no, we can no longer do that. So speaking about pilgrimage in generally, whether Hajj or whether pilgrimage, by the both religions, how does it contribute to our development?
Well, it's those countries where pilgrims go use it as tourism.
Tourism.
And it's one of the biggest money spinners for Israel and
Saudi Arabia.
And Saudi Arabia. They look at it like, if you go to Israel, for instance, the people who sell you the Christian ornaments, the Christian, the rosary and all that.
They are not even Christians.
They are not Christians.
They're not Christians.
So for them, it is business, purely business.
Yes.
And the state of Israel is making a huge fortune from it, and as well as me, I will go to those sites where it said that Jesus was buried, crucified and buried. They go doing their business. They go shopping when true Christians are going to the centers where those sites are. Now the same thing happens in the other place. So I don't know how I will pray to God, and God will understand and answer my prayers. And if I want to go to Israel, I should go to Israel.
Yeah. Fund your journey.
I should fund my to show my commitment.
Well, we hope that there will come a time where...
Because in the end, ordinary Nigerians do not benefit from this.
Of course.
We hope that there will come a time where there will be an executive order to scrap some of these spendings. So thank you very much. That will be our program for today. And I'd like to appreciate sincerely Barrister Polycarp for your submission.
Thank you so much. Most grateful.
Sativi Akase, it's a pleasure having you always.
My pleasure again.
All right. My name is Fanen Kwano. Join us on our social media handles to watch a replay of the program. See you next week, Tuesday.